Average Woodsman here, back with another video. So today I was thinking about doing a tutorial on how to make gigs out of natural material. We used to do them all the time when we were kids. We would cut bamboo. We had a lot of bamboo in my neighborhood growing up, and we'd cut bamboo, make frog gigs, and then go out gigging during the season. So ironically, the area that I'm in now actually has some bamboo, so I already cut some. We'll make a couple different types of gigs. A 4-prong, which is by far the most common. If you've ever watched any of the survival shows that were on television back in like the early 2010s, like Dual Survival, they would use them. And the less common two-prong, which is the one we used to make when we were kids. Both work really well, and let's get into this. Alright, so the difference with this one is we're just going to split it one time down the middle, and then we're going to carve the middle out to make 2 prongs in almost a U shape. Alright, so here's one of the pieces of bamboo. We're going to want to clean this up, and then I'll show you guys how to lash it so that way it doesn't split past where you want it to split when you're actually carving out the prongs themselves. Alright, so for our next step, we're going to have to wrap this so when we split this down and start carving out the prongs, it doesn't split past the point that we want. We just have to decide how long we want the prongs to be specifically. But I'm going to show you guys how to wrap it. What we do is figure out how long we want our prongs to be. So we want to have them long enough where we can stick through something, whether it be a frog or a fish or a snake or whatever you're specifically using it on. But you also don't want them to be too long because they can become very, very brittle and fragile and they'll break. So you don't want to make them too long. So maybe about this length. So you're going to take your cordage, whatever kind of cordage you want to use. If you want to use natural cordage, you can use natural cordage. If you want to use bank line like I'm using, you can use bank line, you can use paracord, you can use jute twine, whatever you want. Make a loop, and then you're going to want to start wrapping this loop around. Now, you want to make it fairly tight. It doesn't have to be perfect. Clean it up. You're going to want to cut each one, and that's pretty much it. You can burn these if you want to with a lighter, just to kind of melt them down. You don't have to. What I'm going to do is we're going to split this down 4 ways. But if you notice, this keeps this from splitting any more than we want it to. Also, we're going to put little pieces of like sticks in here to spread this out more so we can actually physically carve them. But we'll get into that one now. All right, so this is what it's going to look like once you spread it out. Now this is going to help when you're carving these with your knife to get them sharp, now take your time. These are going to take forever to carve, but over time you will carve them down to points. As you can see, they're starting to get where I want them to be. I'm going to get them sharper, and then I'm going to carve barbs into each one of them. All right, so remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So take your time, sharpen them down until they're razor sharp, like a needle. Now we're going to carve barbs into each one of these. I don't know if you guys can see those, but I have those barbs starting to carve them. I'm doing 2 per prong. You could do more, you could do less, whatever you want to do. But this is what they are going to start looking like once you get them. I want to have a little bit more of a ledge on these, but they're coming in as I'm carving them, so just keep carving them down until you're comfortable with them and you think that they're enough to actually hold on to something if you stab it. All right, so these are looking pretty good. Probably could work on them a little bit more, but I feel like for demonstrational purposes, this is fine. You got the gist of it. I like to. All right, the plan now is to carve this out and make it down into 2 prongs instead of 4. We've gotten them to the point where we're pretty comfortable with them. We'll go ahead and carve those barbs in and get these wrapped up. If you wanted to, you could technically do some barbs on both sides. I'm not going to do it, but on other gigs I've done 2 or even 3. Alright, so this was kind of just a relatively quick video on how to make gigs off the landscape. So remember, like, subscribe, be safe, stay dangerous, and I'll catch you in the next one.